It was like, I needed some chicken nuggets.
What kind of beer?
They don't do this.
Their beer, I think, was the best beer in the
This was an
McDonald's, do you drink beer?
Yeah, I mean, it was
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it. It's like what you were saying about how efficient it is.
Yeah.
Like I like the system over there.
Yeah.
I say they can,
I definitely say the train said they were going to be there at like 12:30.
302 or something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah. If you delay,
Yeah. They said they were going to be there at 12:30.
I've heard of that. I got a C presidential. Like, go slow. It's a I forgot that was a school. Yeah, and it's very for like music. There was a few, but like a few from New English, but there was a couple who didn't know any English at all.
Yeah.
So there was a really big language barrier that I kind of had to jump over because I didn't consider myself like good enough to be able to have straight up conversations, you know.
it takes a lot to get that.
Yeah. So it started out really slow, but it definitely got easier as the 6 weeks progressed.
Yeah.
3 weeks. I was there for the 3 weeks was the PATH program. I didn't. I got there earlier.
Chicken spot over at in front of Smalls. There was a specific wing spot in front of Smalls.
I didn't go to the wing spot in Japan. Why did I not do that? No, I got wings once, but it wasn't in the spot like every time.
It was called My Chicken or something. We didn't say it fast.
And like everyone just sort of expected it to be bathroom.
I'm just gonna type out a response later.
That same distance and time in Toledo, because you're either walking this way or this way, and the ground is like uneven because it's all the cobble paths from like 3,000 years ago. Like,
Yeah, the cobble path.
Madrid is definitely
come back down to business. Well, I how serious it is.
But it's
I've never been to Japan, so what kind of culture shock did you experience while you were
I
there?
was saying earlier, one of the biggest culture shocks for me is that there were literally no. It's like a simple thing, but there are no trash cans anywhere. So you literally have to either finish everything you have or take it with you. That took me like a few days to get used to. It was definitely interesting. Once I finally got used to it, I was like, I see why they keep their society so clean. But at first, it was like a huge. What do you mean there are no trash cans? So it was weird.
Was there anything that you admired about the culture? Something that is very different that you kind of really liked, or?
I mean, it was very clean, and it was everything was very efficient, like the public transportation system. Yeah, like all the trains were like on time, like to the minute, and yeah, that's one thing I really admire.
That was one of my biggest things. I was telling them, I was like, I admire how hard everybody worked. They took everything extremely seriously, from like small things like entertainment to big things. Like it was just insanity how seriously they took everything. So,
How much of the language did you get to use while you were there? Because I studied a little Japanese, but only like a semester and a half, and I think that would be a difficult thing.
We had to talk to some students, and it was very fun to use their language to talk to them, and then they'd talk back to us in English, and so there was that like connection. It was very interesting, and like it made the world feel a lot smaller for sure.
Is there any specific reason why you would recommend that people travel to Japan?
I would definitely say travel to Japan simply because it was an amazing once-in-a-lifetime experience. Maybe not once in a lifetime. I definitely want to go back, but just overall, it was an incredible experience. I already thought it was going to be good, but everything from the people to how kind everybody was to just the way everything was handled and the way everyone was treated was spectacular. It really kind of like changed my view of how people interact with each other. I really enjoyed it.
One representative response for each one of these, just to put us in the travel study mood. Let's see. So, when did you experience culture shock and how did you deal with it? Who should I call on? Who's got a good story for us? Nobody experienced culture shock. Okay, number 2. Oh, come on. All right, you were going to say something. Let's hear it.
So, in Japan, when you go to college, you have to take a physical exam. So that wasn't too strange. The strange part was imagine this scenario. You're in a public, college bathroom with a bunch of other girls who are doing a urine test.
Right.
And it's because no one told you that there was going to be a urine test. You had peed that morning. So imagine you just sort of sitting there for 15 minutes, just going like, I can't do it. I can't. Like, and then the poor nurse, who like knocks on the door,
doesn't make
and
it any
is worried
easier.
about me, and it's like, Genki desu ka? Are you okay? And I'm like, I can't. And she's like, you can come, you can get it next week. I'm like, okay. So
You're interrupting my referee. Yeah.
So and also you get a grade.
Yeah, a grade. Oh God.
I got a C, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh
a
God.
because
You're below
No, the Germans are into grading stuff like that too. I mean, like I always say, the Germans and Japanese should have an alliance someday.
so that was really shocking.
No, they should really consider something. All right. Now, German little kids, all Germans can swim, and when you go as like a 3rd grader or something, your grade school teacher takes you to the big pool, and you learn to swim and the whole thing, and then depending on how well you swam, you get a badge. Like, it shows like, okay, I'm a dolphin, or oh, you're just a seal, or oh, you're just a penguin. Yeah, whatever. It's Germans. All right, good. Okay, number 2. What are some practices, traditions that you really admire about the foreign culture? Thank you, Megan, by the way. Did you see anything you really liked? All right, let's hear it. Sarah.
This is one of my favorite things when I went to Germany, and I love it so much. But the way that Germans take historical buildings like castles and they repurpose them into usable institutions. That is one of my favorite things. When we went to Braunschweig, there is a castle there. And to my knowledge, I think it didn't get destroyed in World War II.
It was completely destroyed in World War II.
And then they rebuilt it using the same materials, and they turned it into a shopping mall.
Yeah, most of it into a shopping mall. It was a private-public thing, yeah. But it was destroyed because it used to be a castle, and then it turned into an SS non-commissioned officer school. And then thanks to the U.S. 8th Air Force, it no longer existed. And they put all of the ruins in a big hole. And in the 1990s, somebody came up with an idea like, why don't we dig all these things out of a hole, like scan them on the computer, and like rebuild it using the original destroyed remnants. And they freaking did it. But the big controversy is how are we going to fund this amazingly expensive project? And so there were people who were like, oh, it should be public. Other people, oh, this should be private. And so they came together and they said, okay, private money, it's going to be a mall, but on the outside, we're going to have a library and a museum. And then they agreed, and it happened. So anybody who goes to Braunschweig with me, and I go every summer, you'll see exactly what Sarah's talking about. But it is kind of trippy because on the outside, the last thing you expect is a shopping mall. Okay, good, thank you. All right, number 3, what, in your opinion, Could the culture that you experience and your own cultures learn from one another? So we've had someone who went to Japan, we've had somebody who went to Germany. How about a student who went to France or Spain, perhaps? Yes. Which country?
I went to France.
You went to France. Awesome. What did you admire?
I admired that the French people are very slow in their life. It's very much slow down, live your life, enjoy your day,
Yes.
compared to American culture, which is very fast
Yes.
and efficient and trying to get as much done as possible. But they definitely enjoy their leisure time and they appreciate it.
That's an excellent point, and I think the Germans and the French have that in common. Is there's this thing called quality of life, right? That you can't really attach a number to, can you? You can't really quantify it. Like if I make this much money, then I have quality of life, right? It's not that simple, right? And so the Germans and the French expend a considerable amount of public money in order to create public space where people can just be people and enjoy, pushing baby carriages and jogging, stuff like that. Just being human, Homo sapiens, So I think that a lot of times that's lost here because, as Calvin Coolidge said, the business of America is business. And some other guy said time is money, right? Another guy said money walks and something else talks. Okay, or walks, all right. Money talks and something else walks. All right, good. Number 4, can you remember any personal triumphs? What did you learn from them? Yes, a Spanish type individual. Yes, let's hear it. Either one of you.
Okay.
All right.
So it was, you see it up when you speak up. One of the really big things, which it was really little at first, but being able to go into a store and just have a transaction that went without issues. You didn't have to talk in English.
Yes.
I could speak fully in Spanish. They didn't question whether or not I could speak Spanish. I'm sure they did, but they didn't say it. I think one of the first days I was in Spain, I just went got some postcards. And it was pretty simple, here's money, thanks, bye. But then later I went to a mall and I was able to buy a suit, and so able to converse with someone about different clothing options and actually have a shopping experience. Just all the little things that you learned throughout the trip and being able to live without any issues.
That's an excellent example. Yeah, and you can be having that conversation about something relatively simple like shopping, right? But that other person you're talking to doesn't know that inside you're yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're yes, I'm actually learning that stuff. I'm actually using that stuff that I learned here at UTM, or I learned from my Spanish friend, or something like that. It's an awesome feeling, and it's hard to explain to people what a triumph it is. And there are always triumphs. It's like a video game that never ends, there's no end boss, basically. The other day, I was invited to teach for Georgetown University about Kafka. And I thought it was an undergraduate class, and I thought, okay, it's gonna be in English, because, I don't know. I thought maybe Kafka's kind of world literature, the whole thing. It was a graduate class, and it was all in German. And I haven't done that for a while, okay? And so for an hour and 15 minutes, your faithful narrator, carried on in German about Kafka and Kafka's a writer, about Kafka and my ideas about Kafka and stuff like that to students who were, they're in their mid-20s, and most of them were actually from Germany. So it was a little bit intimidating at first because I've taught mostly beginning intermediate German here. But when I finished, I had the same feeling, And I had that same feeling when I was 15 years old and I went to Germany for the first time. And I went to the store for the first time and I know exactly what you're talking about, where I was yes, But now that I feel like I defeated that one end boss, now there's another one waiting for me. you know, but it's like a great video game that never ends, I guess. So, very geeky way to put it, but okay. Very geeky. Thank you so much. Okay. And number 5, on a related note, how, if at all, has this experience affected your college career and or your study of the language culture? I'd also like to ask, maybe if you think it might impact your future career, and if so, how? I know it's completely unfair for me to ask that because we occupy a time-space continuum and none of us can see the future. Let's hear it.
So one thing I realized after going there is how...
What's there? They don't know.
So I apologize. Germany.
Ah, yes.
Nuremberg, yes. To Braunschweig, Germany, is how accommodating people are to the fact that you are actually trying to learn the language.
Yes.
For instance, there was one of these days where I went to a bakery, which I didn't even think there would be a bakery in Germany. I mean, up until I went there, but
you realize there are a million bakeries.
Right, and I went in there, and you know, I looked at the selection, and I wanted chicken schnitzel.
Yeah.
So I went up to him, and I tried to stumble over my German words and asked them, "Ich hätte gern."
Ich hätte gern,
Ein Hähnchenschnitzel. So
Yeah.
I hätte gern. And instead of trying to stop me and just talking in English,
yes,
and just telling me, okay,
yeah,
you just wanted chicken schnitzel, they just let me finish my sentence.
Yes.
And corrected me when I needed correcting.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't judgmental at all.
No.
Had they been a little judgmental, I would have been a little upset. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
just the human me. But yeah, and I think it really helped me just push myself to learning a little better. And the fact that they were accommodating just helped me even better.
That's an excellent point. Anybody else? Okay. Yes.
I moved here for music degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the intention of graduating, performing for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And while that is still something that I enjoy doing and want to be able to do, like taking Japanese here has affected career opportunities as far as that goes, because like as of like in this moment I'm applying to go teach for the Japanese. Like it's and being able to go for the month that I did. Not that I ever really stopped wanting to, just kind of continue to reignite, could further ignite that.
Yes.
Wanting to learn more, and in this case, be able to go and teach and fully immerse myself further. So it's changed my career path, at least for the next potentially up to 5 years.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Slade. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, great. Great feedback, great input. And I'm going to give the mic over to Sensei here in a second, but I just wanted to say all of us have advanced degrees, which means we were in school way, way too long. And so all of us remember sitting exactly where you're sitting. It hasn't been that long, even if I have a white beard, okay? And so we really appreciate, we know how busy you are. Undergrad for me was harder than, to be honest with you, getting a master's degree was easy compared to undergrad. Undergrad was rough. And so we know what you're going through, and we know that time is at a premium, and so we appreciate all the more the fact that you took some time out to come share your experiences with us. It means a lot. And we hope that you will go on and share your enthusiasm for travel study and study abroad with your friends and classmates, roommates, suite mates, maybe even an enemy or two, if you want to cause them hardship. Okay, so that's all I want to say. And again, thank you so much for your input. We really enjoyed this evening. Okay.